Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Intentionality. Have you ever heard that you should leverage your professional skills to help communities? I feel that word really represents that sentence really represents what Asha is, an epitome of intentionality. So we have a special guest today who is very active in the community. She's a veteran runner. She has run a couple of majors, and she has a lot of wisdom to share with us. So welcome, Asha.
Thank you, Satesha. Thank you for having me on this episode of Intentionality. I really look forward. I think it's a very profound subject. I really hope I'll be able to share a bit of my experience that will be worthwhile to you.
I have no doubt. So maybe tell us about yourself. Maybe what do you do for a living, and how does your day look like? What are your passions?
I always find it a bit of a struggle to introduce myself, but in a word, if I have to say, I call myself a life enthusiast. Because I find life very interesting. I am a IT professional. I'm a senior project manager with almost like 20 years of experience in the IT field, with varying experience from a project delivery and execution and pre-sales. That's my key skill sets. I'm a runner, a marathoner, which has given me a lot of identity. A mother of a 14-year-old daughter, very proud of it. My family, husband, and the daughter. So, apart from that, I call myself a community advocate in the sense that I'm involved in a lot of community initiatives, be it running or otherwise. I am a shoe geek.
Yeah.
Probably that explains my association with Puma. I'm a Puma sponsored athlete. So,
How many shoes do you have?
If somebody enters my house and probably that's my shoe wardrobe would be a place that they can, rob, I would be really devastated if that happens. So in a nutshell, that's what I am.
Mothers are superhumans. I always call my wife man of the house. I'm not the one. Because there are a lot of responsibilities that they take. So they care for everything. So give us a sneak peek into your day. So you're a project manager, which is stressful job in the first place.
Yeah.
You're a mother.
Yeah.
You're a runner.
Yeah.
And you also are active in community.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your day? So what all goes in a day if you take an ideal day?
Okay. Let me tell you a secret. I have been a very unconventional mother. In the sense that the way my daughter was brought up was very different from probably unlike any other mother. I raised her to be very, very independent from a very early childhood. For example, when she was around 6 months old, I traveled with her to the US for a work assignment, and I stayed with her for almost 2 years there, 1.5 2 years. We were quite alone. Like my husband could not travel with me at that time, and we just managed alone. It was a career choice that I made at that time, and it was very brave. When I look back, I don't even know how I did it at that time because she was just 6 months old at that time. So the whole process was very difficult in a lot of sense. But what eventually happened was that the child grew very independent from a very early age. So she has seen me as a woman who passionately pursues what I like. So she has seen me as an independent woman. And I think that has probably inspired her or encouraged her, to be that way in certain sense. So she has always seen her mom as a strong woman.
Okay.
Something I'm very proud of. So it's an early investment.
Okay.
A lot of early age investment. I remember days when I would have project calls in the night with my offshore team, and she's just 1 year old. Can you imagine a year old? So night she might be crying and she might be sick. Sometimes I just have to go into the closet to take the calls because I don't want the project calls to be disturbed, or take her to a hospital in the night because I'm probably alone at that time, right? So those experiences has shaped her early life and mine in a way. I would feel that as much as running has strengthened me, it has been the motherhood
Motherhood. Yeah.
motherhood part of it. and she has grown up as a fine girl, and today she inspires me as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I pick from you is instead of trying to motivate someone to be something, just be someone and let people observe and learn from that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So your daughter actually got inspired by seeing what you do.
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah.
That's one of the useful tips that I can take because I have two daughters, but they're already grown up at an age where they may not listen to us now.
Oh, I'm sure they are well opinionated and strong opinionated.
Of
at
course
this
they
age.
are.
Yeah, which is actually good.
But like you said, early investments are
Early
always
investment
useful.
is good.
So set an example, be a model. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does your day look like across all this motherhood, project management, running, and community work? If you take a day.
Packed most of the days, but over a period of time, I have realized that you need to prioritize things. So there was a point of time where I was spread too thin because of my community involvement. I was holding an office bearer position in my apartment and a lot of neighborhood initiatives, which I happily carried on for almost like 4 to 5 years, being the vice president of the apartment association, involved in a lot of initiatives for sustainability in the neighborhood, apart from the office work and other things. But over a period of time, I realized, okay, this I have contributed enough to this cause. Now I need to narrow down a few more things which are priorities at this time. Let me not spread myself so thin. So I think you learn over a period of time that these are your priorities. So obviously right now what takes my time is running. The training takes a significant part of time because obviously marathon training is demanding. My office responsibilities, daughter, but she's independent, so luckily she takes care of a lot of stuff. And then I'm very actively involved in the sports Bengaluru Sports Foundation activities. Then also the running club, so also Bangalore, which is my family. So most of it has been like this, and some of the personal initiatives, because some few things come to me where they expect me to be involved in certain way or the other. So that's how that is.
So if generally when I talk to IT professionals, of course it's not just 9 to 5 job, it's actually 9 to 7, 9 to 8 job, especially if you're in Bangalore. It might even go until 8, 9 as well if you're stuck in traffic. So I would not say excuse, but one of the reasons why people don't spend time on their own health is I don't have time. All the time I'm at workplace. But I guess what you just mentioned, it helps them answer that question. So we have to prioritize at the end of the day.
You have to prioritize, and first of all, I really hope that you have a understanding of organization and work culture, and that is something sad for a lot of people in the IT, though, that they really want to do things. The organization is not very supportive enough, or the work culture is not very supportive enough on top of Bangalore traffic, right? So I understand the logistic part of it, but then what I would say is that start small. Like don't aim for bigger changes initially. Set smaller goals which is achievable. If somebody wants to start small, I would say, can you make time for yourself 30 minutes a day? And if you can't make time during the early morning, set up, use your time during lunch or break it down into 15 minutes. And when you achieve something, that gratification, and when you see the benefit that fitness brings to your life, you will automatically start prioritizing. So that's possible, and we actually set meetings in our calendar. If you can possible, set a specific calendar time for your fitness, your health, because your health is not negotiable. That's something that I would advise. Everybody has the same 24 hours. If you want, you will find reasons to do it and not excuses. I'm sure you'll be able to do that. And one more thing which personally has helped me is that find meaningful relationships and spend time on meaningful things, because most of the time we spend a lot of time in activities and engagements which may not add a lot of value in depth to us. It could be just partying or social. I think doesn't help. Maybe you can minimize a little bit and see, okay, can I spend this time for my health and fitness? Maybe I'll meet once a month. Let me avoid this. So that decision is yours. Yeah.
So look at everything that you do and ask yourself, is it really helping me or harming me?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. At some point you need to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find your reason.
Also, what you're saying is, yeah, I mean, instead of cribbing about work-life balance, because there is nothing like work-life balance.
There's no
work,
balance.
Work and life has to be integrated.
Integrated.
Because work is part of life.
Yeah.
You can't leave work and come to home, and then you can't leave life and then go to work. So they have to be integrated.
Right. Like Indra Nooyi said in an interview, she said there's nothing like balance. I don't have balance in my life. I just decide what I spend time on and what I do not spend time on.
Right.
So you choose what's right for you and what's important for you.
Yeah. You started your running with Infosys running events.
Yeah.
I have seen many organizations having these events, but not everybody participates. So how did that calling come to you? So what made you participate in these events, and when was this?
So it's been 10 years since I started running, and again I feel it is something universe conspired. I didn't intend to be there, but I just happened to be in the Infosys ground one day because the cricket match that I was participating in got cancelled because we were late, so the other team got a bye, right? So I was there in the ground and I saw a set of few athletes warming up, trying to do some drills, and I said, I'm anyway dressed up. Can I join you folks? And eventually I figured that they're trying to set up the Infosys running club, Happy Feet. And I started going there every day in the evening. It's almost like 5. So that's a time when I can take a break from work for an hour. And I would go to the ground, and the club formed Happy Feet, and then we grew really well. We had 2 events every year, the Infosys run, the winter run and the summer run. So we had training 5 days a week, different things like strengthening, running, and participating in these events was very prestigious. So from participating, I started looking forward to winning it.
Okay.
So until the year I left, I think every year I have been winning, either in the women overall, one of the winners, or definitely in the age category. So that's where the journey started, from running 100 meters to 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. I realized, okay, I have a thing for endurance. Yeah. So I think probably I can do it. And the whole sense of community, friendships, new networking, everything changed me. Physical transformation actually is very empowering.
So is that what made you stick to this and then make it a habit?
Yeah, it was a good starting point. And later I got introduced to a club called Souls of Bangalore, which has been my family for almost 9 years. We are one of the oldest clubs in Bangalore, and we recently celebrated 10 years.
Okay.
And Souls, we believe that we say souls to soul.
Okay.
So it's not a commercial group. We are a set of almost like 150 runners now spread across the world. Really good, strong runners who are there. We are family. We support each other. We mentor each other. I've been lucky to be mentored by some of the good runners in the community. It has given me lifelong friendships. And I think Souls has been a reason why, I learned more about running, because I learned from fellow runners.
So community helps. Before we get into community, let's unpack your running career. So talk to us about some of the running accomplishments of yours.
Okay. Been running for 10 years.
10
I think
years.
that itself is the accomplishment.
Yeah, you're the better one.
Consistency. I think being able to stay put, because it has been a lot of up and down journey. Like there have been enough instances where I could not, because of life situations or change of job and certain other things, but being able to stay put and enjoy the sport itself is the biggest accomplishment. But if you ask me in terms of events and all that, I've been able to complete 2 world majors so far, the London and the New York. I won podium in a lot of events over a period of time. The Spice Coast Cochin twice, and if you look at the latest ones, I won the last year the Bangalore Ultra 25K. Then I did the Midnight Marathon half, and Chikmagalur half. So those have been the latest ones.
So you have been on podiums.
I've been on quite a few podiums. Yeah.
So What's the feeling when you get onto the podium versus just finishing an event?
Oh, it's just a cherry on the top. I mean, it's an extra special feel. But
Right.
then okay, let me tell you, when I started running, at that time, okay, we used to be very happy about podiums, and it used to give me that extra happiness. So you would specially look for events where you could, people say, okay, Asha could run this. But I think over a period of time, I have been very particular about events that I run. Like, I do not my race calendar I choose a little bit more carefully. It's not about the gratification of being on the podium. It's about, am I feeling strong enough? Is it aligning to what I want? Is it aligning to my training goals? So podium is great.
Yeah.
It's all about who was best on that particular day. So as long as you have that sense that okay, it is what it is, it's fine. But I love the feeling of racing and feeling strong. So that's what gives me a lot more happiness.
Yeah. When I was running New Delhi this year in February, there were a couple of people, pedestrians. They were having this conversation. इन सबको देख रहे हो? कोई नहीं जीतने वाला है. उनका मुंह देखो. So basically, at the end of the day, everybody who participates in these running events, they're losing. But one thing that I love about running is everybody gets a medal. That means everybody is a winner. So if you're finishing, you are winning. Of course, you're competing with yourself, if not others. Of course, you can compete with others for performance. But when you finish it, you get a medal. So yeah, like you said, finishing is also a win.
Yeah. I mean, it's very funny when you speak to your non-running friends and community saying that, did you win? I don't know. I am 1001 in 3000 or 50,000 crowd. When you look at in a larger forum, or you finished, but still you will feel happy. Okay, I was in the leaderboard. I was in the leader first 10 in because it's a national event and I'm in the leaderboard. That gives you pride. But it's very unrelatable when you speak to a non-running community. But we know what it gives that happiness and satisfaction that okay, you have put in the training, you have put in the effort, and this is where you are. And always it's good to have goals. You always need to have something to work towards for, so it's fine.
So you're earlier saying you manifest results by wanting it very strongly. You talked about podium finish, and then you said you received a medal from Sachin Tendulkar. Talk to us about that.
Oh, it's a very, very special experience. So, as a 9-year-old child, okay, so Sachin was a childhood hero, and you can imagine, Sachin was a national hero at that time.
Yeah, of course.
And he was my only hero, and I strongly believed, or the girls strongly believed, that I am going to meet Sachin one day. Okay, so this was a very strong belief, and I used to get real-time dreams that okay, I'm going with Sachin in his car, things like that. And the girl grew up, no relationship with sports whatsoever. In early 30s, she starts running, right? So 20-25 years, absolutely nothing, academics only. And then she goes on to attend the Spice Coast Kochi Marathon, where she finishes well. She finishes strong, and Sachin was a special guest of the day, and he had flagged off the event. I think just Sachin saying "do well" while flagging off made me do my best that day. Though I was not planning to compete or do very well, I finished well. I didn't know that I won or anything, but then. It was a very surprise moment when I was called onto the stage to receive the prize from him. This was in 2017 or 18, where I think Sachin was not such a publicly accessible figure at that time. So meeting him, just being that moment with him was, I feel, universe really conspired and connected the dots 20 years later, right? With no relationship, just that thought being in your subconscious mind, universe just kept conspiring. And again, 2 years later, I went back to the event. I won it again. And this time again, I was much better prepared to talk to him. So, and this time I got an autograph from him. Not just me. I mean, nobody was actually wanted to go and speak to him because everybody was scared. Right? Like that aura is around. I just went and spoke to him and said that, can you give me an autograph? I want an autograph for me and my coach, if you can give me. And can you give autograph for the fellow winners as well? And everybody got an autograph. It was just not me. So I felt very happy about it, that you know, taking that courage to go speak to him and told him that I met you 2 years ago and I'm coming back again. This time I'm coming back after an ACL injury. It's a big comeback for me. So that was a huge moment for me in terms of manifestation.
So you met him twice.
Met him twice. Yeah.
Received medal twice from him.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah. And because he's one sportsman, I feel you say right, class is permanent. He's one of those rare guys.
Right. Yeah. So many people run solo, and many people, when they're starting just picking up a program from internet, and they may not have formal coach. So based on your experience, would there be a difference running solo versus running with community?
There is definitely a difference, and both are important in a certain way. Like I was part of the community right from the beginning, but significant part of my training I used to run solo also, because you know, I didn't have a training plan that matched exactly someone else. So I have run solo and I have run with others. Each has its own benefits. When you run solo, obviously you are in your own thoughts, your own world, and it's a way of reflecting and understanding yourself better. But if you are chasing a goal, or if you're looking at getting better, it's good to have a community to cheer you, support you, motivate you. And having a running partner, I'll tell you, realize that okay, somebody who can push you in the morning, not to snooze that button and wake up at 4:30 in the morning, because you know that your friend is waiting, you need to be up there, right, to start the run. So that's good, because if you are having a tough training day, you have aggressive goals, you need somebody to push,
Someone to come with hockey bat and
yeah,
knock you
it
down.
makes a lot of sense. I mean, I have a running partner now, and I know that he helps me out in a big way. And sometimes you need that conversation on your easy runs, long runs. It's good to have people around, because you just talk, run along. That sense of community, the camaraderie, that's different. The after run breakfast and coffee, which is like very famous in our circles, right? The catch up. So there is, there's something that adds on. And I think it's just not the race and the numbers, right? We need something to keep going.
Right.
Community is very important.
So apart from runner's high, so this camaraderie pulls people. So talking about runner's high, what is runner's high?
For me, I always wanted to be that poetry in motion.
Okay.
Right, to have a good running form. It is something that I have consciously worked over a period of time to improve my running form, because earlier, I know when I started, there were a lot of things that needed improvement. You know, your body swaying, your alignment is not right. It is something that I've consciously worked over a period of time. It's not 1 day or 2 days. It's been like a couple of years. It involved a lot of things. So I eventually, when you are in that be a poetry running very smoothly, that's my running high. When things come together and when you feel that everything is aligned, it's the flow, it's a smooth flow, right? And you feel good. You are like pain free and you are feeling strong and confident. That's my runner's high.
So it's not just endorphins releasing. So it's
No,
combination of multiple things.
multiple things. Like sometimes at the end of the event, I have somebody approaching me, say that, hey, I've been following you all along because you were running very steady. Many times I've heard that and I feel good. Okay, like something is working, because you know, when somebody's following you and they see that okay, you're running steady, you're able to follow that person, and somebody says the running form is good, it feels good. So
I think I should experience that. I've been running alone. I haven't run with many people. Only just recently I started. So hopefully that will help.
Yeah.
Talking about coach. So you said, having that run as poetry in motion and correcting that form and staying strong. Having coach, does it help? So how would you rate learning yourself versus getting coached by someone?
Okay, so out of the 9 to 10 years, almost 5 years, I was running without any coach. I was in between mentored. 5 years, because I was mentored by someone in between, maybe for a race, but I didn't really have a coach per se. But a coach is there to, you do not have to reinvent the wheel in a lot of sense. You need to have somebody accountable so that, they guide you. and correct you. It's a sounding board. He is your sounding board.
Right.
He's your accountability partner, and guides you to a goal a lot better. Is what I feel. Coach definitely makes a difference, especially if you are trying to improve as a runner. I feel probably if I had a coach much earlier in my life, some of these mistakes that I have done or could have been avoided. Right now, I think we have much more access to information.
Right.
Right, in a lot of sense.
Wrong and right.
Right
both.
and wrong, everything is over the internet. Strength or be it running plans, be anything, it's there. But at the same time, it can be very overwhelming. What to choose, right? Strength also, if you go and Google, you will find a lot of workouts.
Right.
How do you design a program? So either you be so good at it that you learn it yourself and make your own plan, absolutely nothing wrong. You are able to stay accountable for yourself, and if you are a self-motivated person, go ahead and do it. But if you are starting totally new, and it is good to have somebody guide you. Always better to bank on the learnings of someone and make yourself better. So
if somebody is starting today, would you suggest them spend some time learning yourself and then get a coach, or would you suggest get a coach so that you have right thing from day one?
You should spend some time understanding your body, which is good. You do not have to rush to a coach, but spend some time on your feet. You understand what your condition is, and walk, run, maybe even if it's just yoga. Spend a little time and see how do you like this activity. It's like a tester.
Right.
And gradually get into it. Then you see, okay, I've done a 5K, I've done a few 5K. Now I probably want to progress. I want to do a 10K, or I have a goal.
Right.
Then you can approach a coach.
Okay.
I think learning is a good thing.
Learning is always
Learning is a good thing.
In fact, running teaches more about your body than any other sport, I guess.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I were to ask you about what is your running routine, because running is not just running, right? So there are a lot of things that you do before running, after running. There is nutrition, strength. So what's your running routine?
Okay, so I strength train 3 days a week, and my running is almost like 4 to 5 days. 5 days out of 3 days are like proper structured running. The other 2 days is like easy short runs, which I just go for after my strength workout. So that's the routine. Like Sunday is my off day, which is essentially I don't do anything.
One rest day.
One rest day. That's what I do, and I do take good care of my nutrition. It's something, again, you learn over a period of time what is right for you and because you are an athlete. We are amateurs, but essentially we train like an athlete, real athletes.
Yeah,
right? The training
athletes.
a load, recreational athletes, but we are athletes. So the body really demands a lot, and it's good you understand what your body needs. Learn about nutrition. Either you learn it yourself or you figure out somebody else is able to help you. Take care of your nutrition, sleep, recovery. Yeah.
What's your protein intake?
Protein intake. I try around. I would say around 80 grams.
80 grams.
80 grams. So I don't really hit the exact ratios every day. Like if you ask me, it's around 1.5 to 1.8 grams, but I don't really hit that every day. But I have a routine. I know that every meal I try to include some protein or the other in my meal. So that's something I'm very, very conscious about.
I mean, like earlier conversation about coaches. So I did go and work with a strength coach. He taught me how to eat, and he also taught me how to live a life as well.
Yeah.
So having coach helps beyond the sport.
Yeah.
So he got me to a stage where I could easily hit 200 grams in a day. Now I don't have to count, so it automatically happens.
Okay.
So discipline is always
Discipline
good.
is good, yeah.
So earlier it started with Infosys Running Club. Then it was fun at workplace. Now you're qualified for Chicago. Qualification to world majors is not an easy thing. It's something to be very proud of. when did this become competitive? You're going to run, of course, Chicago, right? So when did this sport become competitive for you, from fun to competition?
So, as you said, it started as recreational, but I think over a period of time, I realized that I like it, and endurance. I have a thing for endurance, that I do well in endurance, and you don't intend to be competitive. Like as I said, I didn't have a coach earlier, but I started working with a coach around 4-5 years ago, and it's all about being consistent, doing the boring thing day in and day out, right? Being part of the routine, and then you see changes in your body, you see yourself evolve, you become better and efficient in a lot of ways, that you are aware, you're a much better and aware runner. And I think the changes happen if you stay put on the course, and if you don't get swayed also. Like, there are so many things that happen. So I think it is just the outcome of the whole thing. Like, you enjoy the journey and you see the outcome at some point or the other. You don't intend to be competitive, you just happen to be good, and then you reach that state. I think that's the story of a lot of runners, like especially people like me who started late in life.
Yeah, my strength coach used to say, don't chase weights,
Yeah.
let the weight come to you.
Yeah.
So similarly, you're saying, don't chase the pace, let the pace come to you.
Yeah, I think so. I really think so, because like, the outcome is like, don't chase outcomes.
Yeah. So be consistent.
Be consistent.
Have discipline.
Have discipline, yes.
So you participated in New York and London. So
yeah.
London was first and then New York?
London is first and New York, yeah.
Okay, so London is the most exciting marathon with a lot of crowd support. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So can you share some experience about London? What was your finish time? How did you feel?
So London was my miracle marathon.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did London at a time when I was severely injured. I had the ACL injury, and I had a re-injury 6 months later, which was really bad. Like, I had a meniscal hit on top of the ACL. That meant that I really lost the function of the knee. The knee was bent, and it's strange that in life you get opportunities when you're really least prepared. It's as if life throws things to you and says that, okay, I'm giving you an opportunity, let's see how you stand up for it, right? So I got injured, and I received the London confirmation also almost around the same time. And I just had probably less than 2 months to go, like probably 45 to 50 days or something. That's all I had. And I had no knee function. Like, my knee was bent. I was not able to walk. There was a lot of swelling. The extension was lost. So, there's somebody I'm really grateful for who helped me back. It is my coach, physio, Dr. Soumya Raut.
Soumya Raut.
Yeah.
Stairs,
yeah.
Okay.
I worked with him because when I told him that this happened and I have this marathon in like probably less than 45 days or something, he said that we will take it one day at a time. It won't be easy, but let's not give up hope. And what followed was 45 days of intense rehab and strength.
This is when you were working as well?
Yes, I was working as well. So it was a difficult phase because I gave up a few career opportunities at that time because this was very important for me. I gave up a promotion and I gave up certain opportunities at that time. So that I need to work through this. 45 days, my goodness, like I had not experienced that much pain. Probably only during the birth of my daughter. It was like 3 hours, right? This is like for an entire month. I had to go through manual therapy because the knee had to be manually pushed back to the original position. There was a lot of swelling and pain in that area. But I had a lot of trust in him because I knew him and he knew me as an athlete as well. And every day was so disciplined, so routined. I worked twice a session. So like morning would be the session and evening I would spend an hour on cardio rowing because that's the only cardio I could do. I can't run, I can't walk. And from there, I think just 2 weeks ago, I started gradually running. Pace was probably around 10ish or something, but I was happy. I'm able to move. And then before the event, I think I could manage a 30-kilometer run. That was the only long run I did.
Okay.
And I reached the start line of my first world major, but it was the most chilling experience because I just was happy I was there to be there at the start line. And my coach said, just enjoy the experience. It's one of the best platforms in the world. Be there. It's not just about running and the time. Look around and see what it is. So I'm there, and what a majestic experience, because you have runners from all across the world. London is one of the biggest charity races in the world, right? And on the course you see such amazing experience. Like the fastest runner, you have like 3 hours runners dressed in costumes running,
Right.
and they are running so effortlessly. So there's so much to experience beyond
Running.
run. I finished in around 4 hours 39 minutes, which was a miracle for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Finishing it itself is a
It's a
miracle.
miracle. So I don't think anybody ever believed I ran London, because everybody only saw me as a person who was injured and not able to walk. But it was a lot of effort and trust between my coach and me at that time that we will make it. So it was like, no human is limited. Nothing can stop you if your mind is set.
Right.
It was a lot of mind and willpower over anything. It was absolutely not easy. A lot of discomfort, lot of pain. But I reached that start line pain free. I knew I had no speed work, no miles in leg. It was pure determination that I will see the finish line. So that is my miracle experience. And it's not, even if it is my slowest full marathon time ever, that's my happiest finish.
I'm feeling sad right now.
Did you actually?
Because I missed London because I had a severe shin injury,
Okay.
which is nothing compared to ACL.
Yeah.
So this is a story of resilience. Right?
Resilience. Yeah.
I want to unpack a little bit there now that you brought it up. So if you were to explain to dummies, what is ACL?
Okay.
What is ACL?
Okay, so your knee has 4 ligaments. Okay, a ligament is a thick fiber that connects bone to bone. That is how the bones are connected. So ACL is the ligament that is running through the middle of the knee. It connects the femur and the shin bone. And the function of the ACL, anterior cruciate ligament, is to control the forward and backward movement, this part of the knee, right? And gives that stability. So that's what it happens. Actually, a thick fiber. But then how ACL is actually one of the most common injuries, sports injuries in the world. Mostly in football, you'll find most of the footballers going through this. It happens due to sudden stop, sudden change of direction, lateral change of direction, sudden hit to the knee. So that's when it breaks, and it's a pop. Like when it breaks, right, you hear a popping sound. That's the identity of ACL tear. So mine was almost a full tear. There are different grades of tear. The grade 1, 2, 3. So 3 is like a full tear that happens. And if you have a ACL tear, what happens is that the control of the knee is a little lost, because that's what controls the balance and forward and backward. And there is swelling, instability, like buckling. Like your knee is not able to hold itself. And knee is a very complex structure. It's actually the most complex the joint in the body. And essentially, when something internal injury like this happens, your mobility is restricted, your life itself changes.
I know many people just are bedridden for many years when ACL injury happens.
Yeah,
The normal.
Because earlier I think people were just advised rest if injury happens, and they are not really. Now ACL rehabilitation has advanced, and there's a lot of research done on it. A lot of people actually reduce their daily routine and just change their daily routine once it happens,
Right.
because it is devastating. Whatever you could do earlier, it just changes because your everything, like your movement pattern itself, is restricted. So it's not an easy injury to deal with. It has it's a very non-linear injury. If you understand the rehabilitation pattern, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
It was a freak accident. In fact, all the ACL injuries in the world are freak accidents. So it happened to me during a box jump, a kind of a plyometric workout.
Okay.
So It happened in a fraction of microseconds. It's like they say microsecond. That's all it takes for ACL tear to happen. And I was just 2 weeks away from the 125th virtual Boston when it happened. Like I was training for it. It was COVID time.
Okay.
And you know that during COVID time there were no events, and virtual Boston was like that's again I had applied, got in. I was something I was training seriously for. In many ways devastating, because I felt okay, almost a year of effort went wasted. More than that, life changed.
Yeah.
You know, I used to play badminton with my daughter. She was training professionally. So what will happen to the knee? Can I even return to sport? That's a big question. Can I do things that I used to do earlier? So it's a life-altering question at this point. So it wasn't easy.
So there was impact on mental
There was a trauma.
fitness.
There it was trauma. Yeah.
And generally, if you go to ortho, they would say, "Yeah, stop running. No more running in your life."
Yeah.
So it's good that you went to the physio. And I know even a single session of physio is so painful.
Yeah.
I don't know how many physio sessions you went through every day.
Yeah.
It's painful. So if you were to avoid this injury, what would you do today? Of course, you won't stop plyometrics, I'm assuming.
No, see, I had two options at that time, right? So the ortho who said that okay, you can we can do a surgery and you can get back in, like you'll be back home in 2 days, or go with a physio and a strength trainer who said that Asha, take a I will suggest you the non-operative method, but I assure you that you can get back strong. I'll make sure that you get back strong. So I had to trust the judgment of the person whom I knew the most and who knew me the most. That's how I decided on what suited best for me. That was Dr. Soumya at that time. If you ask me, can it be avoided? Maybe it can. Because if you look, see, one thing is I don't want to go back and question why me.
Yeah.
Because that was the first thing that I did, was accept the phase, because that's the first part of healing, that accept the injury and move on. But if you look at training, strength training, especially in footballers, you'd see that there's a lot of preventive training that they do, like movement mechanics. They are trained in movement mechanics so that you know how to land or how to move in a much more efficient way. So that you avoid the knee buckling in. So like issues happen when your knee buckling in, you have a knee valgus or sudden rapid changes. So you strengthen the muscles in such a way that you are much more conscious of the movements and avoid the injury. It cannot be 100% control. You cannot avoid risk, but you obviously can be trained much better for that. And I think when it happened to me, the person that I was in terms of my consciousness, body consciousness versus what I am right now, it's very different, because right now I am a lot more conscious about my body movement, like how my knee moves, or how can I, even if I jump or move, how to be softer on the knees, how do you reduce the impact, how do you point your knees outside, you don't collapse your knees while squatting, a lot more form and awareness. So awareness is the key. You can't avoid, but you can build awareness and reduce injuries.
Yeah, makes sense. In fact, when we are running for fun, mostly injuries are not happening. When we start putting more volume, and then when we start training for performance, injuries can happen. So injury cannot be completely eliminated. Freak accidents can happen anytime. Form matters a lot. If you have to advise someone to run injury free, is it possible to run injury free?
I think I really wish. I really wish I could, because I don't think there's any part of my body which has not gone through niggles by now. But what I would say is control the controllables. So what is in your hand, can you control it? So injury which is coming through overuse, because you have not trained it enough, right? Your body is not conditioned enough to take the load. Can you train your body better? Okay, so first thing, if you are training for a serious goal, I would say the first thing is get an assessment done. Okay, get a physio assessment done. You can do the medical other assessment also in terms of your vitals, but the physio assessment get done so that you know what is your strength, what are the areas that you need to improve and strengthen much better. You will have an idea of your condition of your body.
Okay.
And second thing is, according to that, you design. If you have a coach, work with him. The relationship with the coach or whoever is working with is very important, sacrosanct. I would feel that. Tell him what is your body condition and design your plan, workout goal accordingly. Like, plan your goal according to your body's condition. Do not compare your journey with someone else. Even if two people are running the same pace, right? One person might be better conditioned than you. So please understand, he might be younger than you or she might be younger than you, right? So please plan accordingly. Things to include: strength training regularly, mobility workouts. If you're training for speed, build on agility, build on movement patterns, spend enough time on recovery, like foam rolling, right? Getting a regular release or massage done. And people compromise on the most important recovery tool, just like sleep. Sleep is when your body heals. Sleep adequately. I mean, I keep telling myself. I've been much more conscious about sleep and nutrition. So these are your controllables. As much as possible, try to work around it. You may still get injured, but at least you have tried.
So strength, form, nutrition,
mobility,
sleep, and work with a coach, get assessed.
Work with a coach, it depends. Like, sometimes if you have been in the sport for long enough, if you know, you plan your workout, nothing wrong. So
if I were to know much ahead that I'm going to get injured, so you said you have a lot of experience with injuries, right? So can I guess or assess that I'm going to get injured? Are there any conditions that I should look for?
Your body will start giving you symptoms.
What are those?
Like, I'll tell you about what I'm going through currently.
Sure.
Maybe. So I've been doing a lot of speed workouts in the last couple of months, and then I started feeling pull in my adductors. And I could not figure out. I never had an adductor injury before, right? But then I had adductor strain in one leg. Then gradually I had adductor on the other leg as well. And I kept thinking, okay, I fixed the adductor, right? But then gradually I started feeling, many things else started getting pulled. The hamstring was getting tightened. So eventually the root cause was I had a lot of limitation around the hips. Like, the hip mobility was restricted. So that's one thing. So whenever you are in trouble, it is not directly related to that body part, because something else is trying to overcompensate or compensate for that movement. So people, when runners, mostly say, I have knee pain. I get knee pain from running. It is not your knee which is paining. It is because probably your quads or your hips are not strengthened enough. That the knee is taking that extra load. Right. So this will come only from experience, and sometimes with experience also you may not know, but once you get that injury, you know, okay, this is due to that. And the body is very miraculous in the sense that it overcomes it. Like, if you give it enough time, and sometimes the injury stays, but the body learns to adapt.
Right, absolutely.
It stays there, but it doesn't trouble you any longer. So that's how it is.
So look for niggles, whatever signals your body gives. I had met Dr. Samya once, and he told me, you seem to have high pain tolerance. So the problem that I have because of that is, even if there is some sign that is coming out from my body, I cannot read it. So are you saying, you get that ability to sense what is your body telling you with experience?
Yeah, I know we become too hard. Hard in a way, nothing affects us. But then runners, it happens with runners. A lot of runners, ignore. Say it's okay. Till the point it almost breaks.
So recently I was infected by dengue, so as a result I lost some of the muscles, and then all those past injuries started, I started feeling them. So so then I realized that muscle is so important, and that kind of takes care of all those niggles and injuries. So given that you went through this traumatic experience of ACL, and you also said it is very transformative, right? um, do you still worry about it when you run? Is it always on back of your mind when you run?
It is. It is. It still hasn't. I still haven't completely gotten over it. I may have gotten better at dealing with it, right? Um, so muscle, I feel it like they say muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
A body has a way of remembering injuries also. So it helps us adapt. So what it tells you is that the brain has a way of protecting your body. So it also keeps trying to protect you from further. So it's like it's some signal in your body all the time ki save yourself, save yourself. You're all in that fight and flight mode, if you ask me. It has been very difficult, honestly, Satisha. If you ask me, trauma healing is not easy. It took me a long time to get over the fear of the box. Like mentally, I had to condition myself to be able to do workouts on a box, because it was important for me to do the step up, but to step on that box, it took a while. I needed mental conditioning, help of my coach to get through that moment. And initial days when I used to run, I would run alone, because obviously I'm running slow and I have to be more conscious. So more consciousness is something that I built due to the injury, because it was like being in a bubble. Like I had to be much more conscious of my body. It had more conscious of my movement. When I work out in the gym or stairs, I'm in a very different zone. I'm not that very friendly character. It's not about friendliness, but I am in a zone when I'm very, very particular about what I'm doing. I listen only to one coach. Like I do not listen to multiple instructions, because the memories are there, right? That okay, what if it happens again? It has gotten better over a period of time. And even now when I run, speed workouts in Bangalore, obviously you run across dogs who will suddenly come and jump in front of you, or try to stop or bark, or a vehicle or a bike suddenly stopping. It used to trigger potholes. My rehabilitation involved a lot of workouts which helped me, like for example balancing workouts, proprioception, which was helped me adapt to these situations. Like when you step on a stone, suddenly you don't slip or lose your angle stability, etc. Right? This is all part of rehab. That has helped me. But that mental conditioning to come out of the fear that it will not happen again, it's an ongoing process. I've gotten much better at it. I've been helping a lot of people with it. Like a lot of people come to me who are ACL affected, friends, word of mouth. Because sometimes people come to me, Bangalore runners, you will see, okay, contact Asha. If she has gone through ACL rehabilitation, you can ask her about the experience. So I advise people on how you can condition mentally better. I have been reading. I think I've probably researched so much about ACL. My coach tells me that you can actually run a ACL protocol yourself. I was so well read, because I would read case studies, I would read latest research papers. The first thing I did was go and learn my anatomy of my knee. So the only way to get over this, personally, the way I worked was, one is how to get rid of fear mongering, because there will be a lot of people who advise you. They want to help you, but they are advising you, saying, "Oh, you can't do this. What will happen? Will you be able to trek again?" Then I decided the only way to fight fear mongering is awareness and your own knowledge. Read as much as possible. Talk. I would be as well read as the person who's treating me. So that I know if this is the sensation in the knee, it is this part, and it is not anything else. So that helped me a lot. I would read books. Comeback Quotient was a book I read. It helped me immensely in my comeback. Helped me set mindset. And it is a very non-linear journey, and at times it is difficult. There are people won't understand you unless you have gone through the same experience. Nobody will understand, okay, when I'm training for my full, especially I'm training for my full marathon, and when you're looking at performance, there's so much of body issues I'm going through, adaptation issues I'm going through, injuries on one side, the other side starts adapting, trying to load more. So there's a lot more pain in this side, calves are getting hurt more, it's a hamstring pull more here, IT band issues. So it has not been easy.
Now, you also said earlier there is physiological part when injury happens, and then there is major part is psychological part. In fact, our body is capable of doing many things as long as our mental strength is there. You talked about comeback quotient, and you said ultra realism helped in handling this well, gracefully. Can you educate us about ultra realism?
Okay, ultra realism, the prime principle is that not questioning why me. Instead of questioning why me, right? You leave that question, and how do you use the situation as an opportunity to move forward? Like, how do you move forward is all about ultra realism. It is what it is. Accept it. So there are three important stages of healing which ultra realism teaches you. One is accepting the situation, which is actually the toughest. Any trauma, like you ask anybody who has gone through a trauma about an accident, or somebody who has lost someone in life and grieving that situation, right? Accepting that moment that life has changed. It is the most difficult part. So I would keep thinking, okay, this is an injury, life hasn't changed, right? What will happen? I mean, it's okay, it's fine. But I had to tell myself, Asha, things have changed. You are not the same person as you were yesterday. Okay? What you need to do is accept that your body, certain things are not working the way it is. You accept that situation. Now you move forward, right? That once I accepted, okay, this is my situation, then I started looking for the next step. The second step is embracing. Say that, okay, so this is my situation, I have an injury, there's no point crying in that moment and thinking why me again. Let me see how I can come out of it. Let me look at it as an opportunity to maybe make myself better, make myself stronger, make lemonade out of lemon, right?
Right, absolutely.
So third is address the situation. So address the situation is you be in a situation where you can make a wise judgment call on what's the best situation forward. So as I told you, I had only two options. One is surgery. With a doctor who doesn't know me, I'll just go get surgery done. But what about my athletic career? Second is working with a person who knew me and whom I can trust, and who is confidently saying that we will work through it. And that sounded the most logical to me at that time, and I thought, is it aligning to my overall goals? Then let's do it. And one thing he was very clear was that it is not going to be easy. It will be very difficult. But I was determined that I will do whatever I can to get back to my sport, because my love for the sport was so much. Like, I loved it so intensely. Even if there's no Strava, even if there's no Instagram, I would run. Even if I need to finish an event and not declare it to the world, also I'll run. So that was how much I loved the sport. And I knew that I have to do it. If you actually look at, the book also speaks about why certain athletes overcome and why some do not, is that how much you are ready to embrace discomfort determines on how much you can move forward. You will fail a lot of times, but can you keep coming back? Can you recalibrate the situation? Like, okay, you have failed or you have hit rock bottom. Okay, this is my new reality. What can I do from there? Maybe I can't, for a professional athlete, maybe I can't be professionally back, but there's something else I can do. Can I do this and come back? So this is what it is. The book also speaks about comeback failures, where it's not everybody comes back. There's a lot been failures, but then the thing is that the whole process transforms you. That maybe you don't get back to your sport, but your journey takes you somewhere else. You evolve out of it. So that's why I like the book. It's very real.
Okay.
Yeah, very real and a lot of real case studies.
Sometimes while running, I keep listening to Coach Bennett's podcast. So in one of the podcasts, he was saying
Nike.
we can't. Yeah, Nike's head coach. So can't go back in the past and fix anything. We can't go to the future and do anything in the future. All we have got is present.
Present.
So what you're saying is, so present is present. Can't crib about why me. So accept, embrace, and address. So that's what we need to do. Thank you. That simple but very profound.
Very profound.
Right.
Very difficult. Not easy.
Yeah.
Very difficult because our mind keeps taking you back.
Right.
Then you have to pull yourself back. Like even now when I go through, I've said, okay, why did this happen? Then I have to bring myself back to saying that, okay, you have gotten better. Now look at what you can do in the future. Be grateful for the support that you have got. Can we move forward? So you have to condition yourself a lot.
Makes sense. Do you do any specific strength training for ACR?
I had a proper, ACL has a proper protocol of rehabilitation, which I really did my initial few months. I was working with STAIRS, which is a proper sports strength rehabilitation center. And because they knew me as an athlete and my capabilities, etc. at that time, I had rehab protocol. At the same time, I had strength also integrated into it. So I could do a lot of strength, which we did not affect the knee. So ACL does have specific protocol, like initial few phases. So one is that reduce the pain reduction, reducing the swelling. Then you need to get the quadricep. The quads are the first affected body part, like the muscles. The VMO has to be enabled. So this quadricep enablement is a big part of ACL rehabilitation because this loses control. So you have to get the quadricep muscles enabled again. And then gradually working on your extension, like knee extension and flexion, like the backward and forward.
Right.
That function has to be enabled. Then there are a lot of isometric workouts to strengthen the muscles. And then gradually start loading, like you weight load, so that the knee is able to take the weight. And then gradually, return to sport. So like gradually you return to sport, then you over a period of time try to include jumping movements, plyometrics. So it is a very clear protocol, and this protocol depends on what is the state of the person when you start with. Like I was already an athlete when it happened to me, so they could advance it in a lot of ways. But if you are a general person who have not been exercising or working out at all, your muscles condition will be different, right? So the stage will be very slow. So it's very person to person. And one thing that I'm very happy for, and in fact that's a message that I want to pass also, is that always fitness will help you. If you are working out, especially strength training, it will help you one way or the other. The one reason that I could come back is because I had been working out for so long. The muscles were in a condition that helped me come back. So another reason, when as you age, say include resistance training, because you could have a fall or you could anything could happen, but can you come back faster?
Yeah. I think we should call this as building resilience with Asha, because it's a story of resilience. And given that went through the traumatic experience, you finished, which is of course it's a laurel that you can always cherish. Then you went to New York, and then now you're going to Chicago. So that's an incredible comeback, right?
I had 4 sub-4 finishes after my ACL.
That's fantastic. So that's up to you actually. So we explored this because we were talking about London. Tell us about New York experience.
Okay, so New York was something that I trained reasonably well for, and New York, it was just like London. I think New York, the crowd, the people, the city welcomes you like nothing else. It has been beautiful. So the New York City Marathon covers 5 boroughs and 5 bridges, and those bridges make sure that you will never forget New York City Marathon, right? It's quite a challenging run, But what you will remember is, for me personally, the ferry ride from the city to the island where the run starts. It's a beautiful experience because you see the sunrise against the city scrapers. It's a very different. It sets a tone for the day, and almost like 50,000 runners on the road, and 1 million people through across the boroughs waiting to cheer you. And so it was a good run for me. I think when I finished, it was a little tough. I finished around 4:05, but I think I was in the top third or fourth finisher in India when I finished New York City Marathon. So something that I'm happy and proud of. It is worthwhile. It was my second world major.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you are working towards Chicago.
Chicago.
So do you have any specific goals for Chicago?
Currently, actually, not really, Sadesha. I'm looking for a good finish. Yeah. I always look for a good finish.
You were saying like earlier.
Yeah.
Finish is a win.
Finish is a win, and I always look at how the body feels during an event, and how the body flows. So that is very important for me. So I look forward to the experience, and I really look forward to be there at the start line and be there at the finish line.
I'm sure you'll do fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure you will do well too. I hope to see you.
Yeah, we will meet at the finish line. So to wrap this particular segment, if you were to advise anybody who is starting to run, especially IT professional like us who have 9 to 7 jobs, if you were to give them advice to get started so that they make it a habit and lifestyle, what would that advice be?
Okay. Start small. Don't get overwhelmed with somebody else's journey. Your journey is important, and it could start with even 30 minutes that you could spend on walking. Walking is actually a great workout. Start with walking. Can you break it down into 15 minutes each if you can't take 30 minutes together? That would be a great start. Incorporate any physical activities. I would say even yoga, because if you have not done anything in life till now, that conditioning helps. A little bit of movement and conditioning helps. Gradually build time for strength training. Work with somebody if possible. Health is a great investment. People don't realize that. Money spent on health for a coach or a trainer is worthwhile. Once you see the benefit, you will find the motivation to keep going. If possible, pull a friend or a buddy in. That gives you even more motivation to keep going and supporting each other. So I would say that is what you should try to do.
Yeah, I had read a blog from a doctor. I don't recall the name now. We had said, I would never ever suggest a runner not to run. Because so they release certain I don't have the biologic, not really endorphins. He was talking about it releases something that creates ability for your brain to create more memories. Compared to strength training or something else, running releases more of that, so that you can create ability to create more memories. So he was saying runners never get depressed. They will never get into depression because they have ability to create more memories. So you're saying start small and then make it a habit. So I think once they start and get the runner's high, there is no need for motivation. So yeah. So, okay. Now the greatest quote that I've heard so far is using professional skills to leverage the professional skills to build communities, improve communities. Like I was saying, today when I came out of the house to drive, first thing I thought was, I hope people drive sanely. I don't have to scream at someone. So if community is good, yes, our surroundings are good, our health is good, our mental health is good. So you have done quite a lot of work on community. So you started Bangalore Sports Foundation.
I'm part of the team,
You're
the
part of
core
it.
team of the
So-
Bangalore Sports Foundation.
How did that come out to be?
So Bengaluru Sports Foundation was a resultant of a group of friends trying to support their fellow runner friend who wanted to do a 50 kilometer on his 50th birthday.
Okay.
So they found a 50 kilometer single loop,
Okay.
and they conducted the event, which eventually be called Beyond 42.19 feet.
Okay.
195. That is essentially trying to persuade somebody to think beyond a marathon distance, right? And that actually became a flagship event where we went for the second edition of Beyond, and the resultant was the formation of this Bengaluru Sports Foundation. The idea of the Sports Foundation was to have a platform that brings sports to the community. How do you encourage more community to attend, be part of sports? By community, I mean the neighborhood.
Right.
People whom you meet on a regular basis, your neighbors, families, kids. How do you encourage them to be part of sports, to build people of community of like-minded people, right? Second is how do you support grassroots level sports? How can you contribute to it? So these are the two major visions of the Sports Foundation, and the core members. All of us are people who are professionals in different fields, runners, all veteran runners, but IT professionals or CEOs, CFOs, like all of us who are working towards this common mission. That's how Bengaluru Sports Foundation came about. We have multiple initiatives. Our flagship event actually is the Bengaluru Runners Jatre, which is the 5K and the 10K event, which I think it's been our third edition.
Okay.
Runners Jatre is all about, as I said, how do you make the community be part of running? Show people what running is like. See, most of the time running events happen in the main city, CBD or outside Bengaluru. In neighborhood, how do you conduct it? How do you bring the people together? How do you bring running clubs together? Make runners be part of the whole organizing. So it is being conducted in HSR. HSR, as you know, it's like a key neighborhood in Bangalore, and also a runners adda. A lot of running clubs operate out of here, and we have been conducting. Jatra is essentially means carnival.
Right.
So it's like a carnival, and a lot of people have started through Jatre, like through 5K in the Jatre, and now we have seen it over the years. They move on to experience their first 10K, 21K, and even full marathons, and then you see the journey, right? It's very fulfilling.
Right.
So these are people who have never been running. They are your regular non-running friends and community who are never part of this. So we have really brought sports into the community itself and made it a little more widespread and vested interest that we want this community to grow. We want like-minded people. So Jatra is one. Beyond 42.195 is the initiative that I spoke about. It's a 50 kilometer single loop event. It's happening next month, October 29th. And then we have Project Prerna, which is a grassroots event. Project Prerna is centering our, I think, the third year, and we have been supporting Coco as the main sport. And our kids, we are supporting almost like 180 kids who are competing at the state and national level. And recently 5 of our own kids have been selected into the national team, and we conduct camps for them. We support the team with their training, accommodation, physio needs. So it's very, very grassroots level, but the team is doing really well. That's an initiative we're very proud of. And Ododo Bunny is another community event that we have. It is a free run that is conducted the first Sunday of every month. We recently completed the first anniversary. It is it's an event that is built on the park run concepts in the UK and the Europe, if you know that.
Yeah.
A free run, right? A 5K time run, but this is not a timed run, but this is a run which is accessible to all. What we have done is that we have made running accessible in the sense that you can come participate. Initially, we would give free t-shirts also so that people feel part of it. And we connect runners, wannabe runners, to the best coaches in the community. Like, we invite coaches to come, interact with runners, tell them, how do you get into running? Like, what is a proper routine for warm up? How do you cool down? A lot of people have questions. And you should understand, a lot of runners, people, as you asked earlier, they do not want to be with a coach because you just don't know what the sport is.
Right.
But they want to come there, experience what it's like, and they get to meet so many coaches, and that the interaction is so meaningful, right? I get to hear from a lot of people, and I get to understand, is it for me? So it has been running really well, and for me personally also, I feel very happy, being part of it. People identify with you because you have been there for so long. I've seen communities evolve, like families evolve. There was a guy who's been coming regularly. He started bringing his wife. He started bringing his young daughter, right? And they're very regular. So if you look at the change, the impact that is being made is very, very, very grassroots level. And this is one family. There are a number of families like that. So it's a very, very,
Must be very
fulfilling,
right?
very fulfilling
When we see the impact of our work inspiring other people to do it, and then that is having chain reaction. And it's quite fulfilling. So Odona Bunny is like park run. Does it happen in different parts of the city?
Yeah, so right now we have two locations. One is in HSR, the second is in Gunjur.
Okay.
Gunjur,
That's close to
Whitefield.
After airport.
Yeah, Whitefield.
Whitefield.
Two locations. We plan to expand. A lot of people approach, but we want it to be sustainable. So we are looking at a plan where could reach more people.
Okay. So Odona Bunny is monthly event, and Runners Jatra is annual event.
Annual event, which happens around June, and Beyond 42 happens in October. And there is also Project Shwasa, which was set up in commemorative memory of Nitin Jagtap, who was actually one of our core members who passed away a year ago. He had a massive cardiac arrest, and it was very sad because if he had received CPR on time, he could have been saved. And the idea of Project Shwasa is to educate more people on life-saving techniques of CPR. And that's something that we have collaborated with Manipal hospitals to provide free CPR training. That's also one of the initiatives that we started after that.
Okay. So Odona Bunny is a timed event. Sorry, Odona Bunny is not timed.
No
event.
time.
Runners Jatra is timed event beyond.
It's a timed event.
So it's like a progression for people. So this is
Yeah.
entry, and then you graduate to Runners Jatra. So maybe Runners Jatra is one of the reasons why there are so many runners in HSR.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So
A lot of
there is
people
a big
associate
community
it.
here.
In fact, it feels nice when you go around the city and you find people in the Runners Jatra t-shirt. Yeah.
So you are into a lot of community work. So you were talking about your interaction with APJ Abdul Kalam, which happened, and kind of that is also work that you're doing for your college. So maybe this trait was there from the beginning. Now that is being exploded. So tell us about what happened with this interaction with Dr.
Kalam. So this was, I think, in my third year of college. I was in my engineering, and there was a video call. Dr. Kalam had just taken over as the president of India, and as you know that he was president par excellence, that he did things beyond his call of duty, right? So one of the first things that he did was have initiative to interact with the students of India, like schools and colleges. So one of his initiative was to reach out to colleges, and this was his first reach out to the engineering colleges in India. And there were all the major colleges connected over a video conference, and the other line is His Excellency. And I think the VC system was working in a way of, I don't know, they had a way of picking at the college. So my college got picked up randomly, the first college to get selected, and I got picked up to be the first student to talk. I think this is you talk. And I thought, okay, I have to ask him something. But before I could ask Dr. Kalam anything, he started saying, I have a few questions to ask you. And he started asking me, what is the importance of thinking, the rational thinking, scientific thinking? And he started asking me a lot of questions, and I started interacting with him. It was quite impromptu. I wasn't really prepared for it. But then I told him whatever I thought about it, and then he also started correcting me, and it was a brief conversation. It was a big deal at that time because it got published in the newspaper. Okay, Asha from this college talks to Kalam at that end over VC. Like VC was a big deal. We didn't have the video conferencing technology at all, right? So it was like a big deal over there. And I think I used to be also called as Asha Kalam, because Asha who talked to Kalam, right? And I think it is these unconscious these interactions and the unconscious effect of all this has played some part in my life, though I have not really intentionally done certain things, but that influence has always been there. That how do you have a lot more meaningful life? Can you be much more purpose? Do you have a purpose in life? Can you be much more intentional with what you do? And that is there in a lot of activities that I have done, and lot of personal initiatives. Can I tell you about something? So last year when I attended the Wayanad Marathon, Wayanad, they did a half marathon, and there was one boy in the sense 17 or 18, he was running with me, very athletic looking. So I was running with him and he was doing well, but after some time so he was struggling. He was trying to keep up with me, but he's struggling. Okay, so I went ahead and I noticed that this guy is running in the Bata loafers. A very athletic looking kid. So I went ahead, I finished the race, and I walked to him and said, what happened? Why are you running in these loafers? He said, I don't have money to buy shoes. I said, okay, fine. I thought, okay, let me get this guy a pair of shoes when I come back. I got his number. I came back and called him and said that, tell me your address. I'll send you a pair of shoes. He said, madam, I don't have an address. Can you talk to my coach? So he called up the coach. And then I realized that there's this coach who has been running this academy in Wayanad, and majority of the kids are from tribal families who are from not great financial background. So they can't really afford anything, So this guy, the coach, has been training these kids, these kind of kids for the last 20 years, out of his own personal interest, from his personal income. And all these kids are doing, the academy is doing very well at the state, the district level and state level. Like, they are really good athletic kids, okay? And he's given them training, he has given them a mission in life, and all a one-man show. So I spoke to him and he said, this is the condition of the kids. I spend almost 20-30K from month, and I train them, take care of accommodation, everything. So I said, how can I help? I said, can you send some shoes? Then I started doing shoe drive. Personal initiative. I collected some 30-40 shoes and sent it across to him. And he said, madam, very good, because these are training barefoot, they don't have anything, and the major events are track and field. So when they go for events, they borrow shoes from somewhere, like they reuse shoes, and because they need spikes. But for their training, they don't have anything. And these are really good kids. Like they're winning at state level, and some of them are going to nationals. Really good ones. And I'm saying, okay, we are amateurs. We are not even training that seriously, but look at the facilities that they have versus what we have. So over the last 1 year, I've been able to do multiple shoe drives, but personal drive. Like I didn't publicize, I didn't put it anywhere, but been able to help them. Right now, I've been trying to gather a little bit more support because they have financial needs also, and I've been able to find somebody who has been happy to come forward and support. What I feel is that these are things, you don't plan for it. I was there just at the event. I could have come back, but something told
you
me...
You have the heart to see it.
Like maybe I should talk to him and figure out and what's happening, right? And even he was shy to talk to me. But over a period of time, it's conspired into something a lot more bigger. I think I'm just being the connecting force at times.
I mean, I have to applaud you for that. So I think this is the right time to ask you, how do you define intentionality?
It's a very deep word, very profound word. I don't know if I have the answer, but I think a starting point is to have a more understanding of who you are as a person. Who are you? And what is your framework of beliefs and values and your ethics? That's your framework. And What is your purpose? Can you find some purpose? I think closely relating to that ikigai word, right? If you can try to achieve your ikigai, that would be the best thing, the most joyful thing in life. For me, ikigai, I think few things connect. Like one thing hasn't connected. Ikigai also speaks about gaining financially from it. I'm not there, but then there are things that drives me, like what I'm passionate about, what the community wants, and what your skill sets are. So those three I'm able to connect. Okay, so that path, I think, is probably could define what your intentionality is. Being much more meaningful, having a purpose or working towards it.
Thanks for putting it so beautifully. Going back to Bengaluru Sports Foundation. So, what's the vision that you, as a group, have?
Okay, the vision of the group is to continue to be a strong platform, engaging with the community, growing stronger as a community is what, because the community is the heart of whatever we do. One beautiful thing about Sports Foundation, I could tell you, when we started, obviously there was a set of core people. Over a period of time, the core group, the group has become bigger, and these people were those who came initially as runners, then became volunteers, then said we want to be part of it, right? And I think that's the beauty of it. You create an ecosystem which is self-supportive, that I don't have to go and hunt for volunteers outside. If I call for volunteers outside, I know that people who are ready to come and say that, okay, we want to support it because we feel good that we are part of building something good. I think that's what is beautiful about the Sports Foundation.
Cool. Bangalore is quite large. Of course, there are runners spread across Bangalore. Now, if we can get all of those to collaborate and then do the work that you're doing, that would be fantastic. So if you were to, let's say, through this podcast, if you were to call the runners to be part of the community work, what would you say?
I think a lot of people already know Sports Foundation. I think when we started off, nobody knew what we are. The identity of Jatre and Sports Foundation is essentially a collaborative work. It is your work, and I'm sure it will be a very meaningful experience being part of something which has a larger purpose. Yeah.
I wish to see Odonabani happening all over Bangalore, because that's the entry point. If people can get in, and then there are many other events that people can get into, but the entry point is lacking. So maybe I certainly want to see Odonabani happening all over Bangalore, not just in two places.
Come next time, but I know that it's very far off for you. Maybe someday in North we should have.
Yeah. So we have quite a lot of runners in GKVK, Jakkur. So yeah, I think something like this should be happening there. I don't know whether anything happening in the southern part of Bangalore, not the Jayanagar, Vijayanagar, Mysore Road. So maybe having people.
We need people who are ready to anchor it and be ready to run sustainably, because it is not a one-off event. It is something that we want to do monthly, and we would really love if somebody is ready to come forward and say we'll run this chapter for Odonabani, and if somebody is interested, please feel free to reach out, and we will make sure that you get the necessary support on how to get going. And we would love to have more Odonabani chapters.
Yeah, see, if people get fitter, obviously nation gets fitter.
More understanding of what running is and the impact of running, right? It's beyond fitness. It is a transformation, better human beings. I would say better human beings.
Absolutely. And in fact, if people become fitter, there is some economic impact as well. So pretty much everything is connected in this world. So if one can work on themselves, with running, discipline also comes. You start understanding others as well, how my work impacts others. So maybe, who knows, our traffic becomes better.
Absolutely. No less honking, be a little bit more supportive, understanding.
Be mindful. Right? So maybe if people become fitter, understand health better, become runners, maybe our nation will prosper even more. I think we should get Modi ji to rally behind running.
Yeah, absolutely. I really want, like more civil officers to become runners,
Yeah.
more police officers to become runners.
Right.
So you understand, you are empathetic to each other. You understand what the problems are. You become better in the whole process.
Yeah.
So why not?
Absolutely. What's your running goal?
So immediately I want to finish
Chicago.
and becoming a better runner in the process. That is what I always look forward to, because I know that there are so many things that I need to be better at in terms of my own body, conditioning, mindset. So that's the running goal. Yeah.
The other day, I guess you told me numbers are not your identity. Running is your identity.
Yeah, so numbers, I forget numbers. I'm not a number person, okay? Sometimes I forget my PBs. I don't remember to the seconds. I know, okay, hours and minutes max, but I don't remember the seconds. Because we all are something beyond the numbers. People forget numbers. People remember you.
Absolutely.
And what you do to them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Maybe few quick questions. Maybe a quick fire round.
There's no tamper. Okay, let's do it.
So you said you have quite a lot of shoes. Which one is your favorite shoe?
Okay, so I am endorsed by Puma. So I have almost all the Nitro series right now with me, and their latest Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3 is my current favorite. It is a racer. That's a pretty good shoe, and they've done really good work on that.
Do you have all-time favorite?
All-time favorite. This is one, and I've raced quite a lot in the previous version of that.
Okay.
Even before I was endorsed with Puma. That's another shoe. So when I started off, I have used quite a bit of Nike. I had only one pair of shoes, so there was no favorite. Right? It's just one pair of shoes that I used all the time. But over a period of time, as I told you, I'm a bit of a shoe geek now, and I have a better understanding of shoes. I like to read shoe reviews. I give a lot of shoe recommendations. A lot of people approach me for very neutral shoe recommendations, irrespective of brand. That's something that I'm very proud of, that learning. So mostly Nikes, a bit of Saucony, and currently all are Puma. Okay. Yeah.
What's your favorite running distance?
Crazy, but I think it's the full marathon. Something brings, it kills you, thrills you, transforms you. So much of learning. It's a experience.
What has been your favorite race so far?
London, because for obvious reasons. Yeah.
Come back. Right?
Yeah.
What is your favorite running fuel?
Electrolytes. A lot of. Recently, I've been more conscious to use electrolytes and a bit more of gels so that I train better, race better. But otherwise, I was just running on a lot of water. Like I just use water, but now much more conscious.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite running book?
There's a lot of books, but this comeback question is very special and close to my heart. Matt Fitzgerald.
Yeah. What is one race in this world which you want to race before you say, I'm done with my shoes?
Actually, honestly, I don't keep bucket lists for races. Okay, for some reason, I always wanted the universe to keep conspiring, give me that surprise. But if I can, I want to run the world. Like I have traveled around 14 countries, and I probably would have run in 7 to 8 of them.
Okay.
I want to see the world running. It gives me a lot of happiness.
Just go on run occasions.
Like every city I visit, I make sure that I spend a couple of days only on that run part where it's just me and exploring the city. That's something I would love to do.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience?
Oh my God, I think it has been such a beautiful flowing conversation with you, Sadisha. I came, I had some idea in mind. I wasn't very sure how much I could speak, but then it was very organic, and I love the topic intentionality.
Yeah.
And I really thank you for bringing the best out of me through this conversation. I never thought I could speak so freely. It was been the most I spoke very naturally, very organically, right from my heart. And I cherish this conversation. I hope that whatever I spoke and shared has been
Yeah,
interesting.
I did enjoy the conversation, and there are a lot of nuggets that one can use to frame their life. And I think our conversation was true to intentionality, the name of this podcast. Um, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with us.
Thank you so much. I know that he has taken time off, traveled a long way to meet me in HSR, and thank you for making this happen.
It's funny how we say far within Bangalore, right? And of course, if somebody wants to learn more from you, can they contact you?
Yeah, of course they can. My Instagram.
Yeah, we will insert the social handles in the episode notes.
Mostly I try to respond as long as it is a proper question, and I try to respond, of course.
So, Asha, you just finished Chicago Marathon, which was your third world major. Of course, we finished together. So, how are you feeling about it? What was the experience?
Congratulations, Adisha, on such a fabulous run. Yay, we did it. Um, it feels great to be at the finish line together because we discussed about it when we met at the podcast a month ago and connected about the intentionality show. That believe was as a way of taking us to places at the right time. That you and me both were running Chicago was such a nice thing, and we did a wonderful podcast, and we decided that at the finish line we'll meet again and talk about the run together. And I think that's a beautiful way universe has connected the dots, and I feel so happy, grateful to be here today, a little overwhelmed as well because marathon I believe takes you through so much of emotion. So I'm a bit emotional, overwhelmed, but I'm just grateful for all the good things that happened during the training cycle. There were a lot of downs, but then I think you also had a lot of health issues. You also overcame. You did really very well, and I did have a good race, memorable race. This is my third world major. I'm so happy and proud. Just very excited. Thank you so much.